Spean Bridge, 9 miles north of Fort William, is the largest village in the area. It takes its name from the bridge built over the River Spean in 1819 by the same Thomas Telford. En route we pass the 1952 monument erected in the memory of commandos who died during the Second World War. The Spean Bridge Hotel was built in 1780, an original coaching inn, and is home to the unique and free Commando exhibition, providing an informative and interesting insight into this elite fighting force which trained here. The hotel's Commando bar was a favourite watering hole and is still part of Commando lore. Today it's a great place to meet the locals for a crack around the open log fire. The Spean Bridge is a substantial hotel, offering a range of accommodation in the hotel or adjoining chalets, with 2 restaurants serving first-class food and 2 bars. We travel east to Roy Bridge, also built by Telford in 1817 and for 149 years carried the road before improvements bypassed it. Inland, a worthwhile detour heads deep into Glen Roy, famous for the parallel roads, a rare geological scar caused by a receding glacier, which was at first thought to be evidence of a lost sea by no less than Darwin, who spent a week here studying the area. However, the Swedish geologist Agassiz later proved his theories wrong. Roy Bridge is home to the Stronlosset Inn, a first-class Highland inn where you can sample local salmon and venison in the Stronlosset Lounge or Three Flowers restaurant, along with real ales and a fine range of malt whisky. With ensuite rooms, the Stronlosset is the perfect base from which to spend a few days in the area. The last interclan battle in Scottish history took place nearby as you enter the glen in 1654 between the MacDonalds of Keppoch and the Camerons. The chief of the MacDonalds, Alistair, died from his wounds, although his clan won the day. A few miles along the main road is the Glen Spean Lodge Hotel and Restaurant, built in the 1880s, an attractive turreted Victorian shooting lodge situated up from the road and overlooking Monessie Gorge. Refurbished in 1993 to the highest standards, Glen Spean features 17 sumptuous ensuite bedrooms, some with king-size 4-posters and corner baths, while the restaurant and lounge bar offers superb food in simply glorious surroundings. The hotel is an oasis of serenity, set as it is in 5 acres of landscaped grounds, in the heart of the Spean Valley, with Ernach Moor as a distant backcloth. Nearby, the Keppoch murders took place, and the Gaelic poet Ian Lom helped bring the 7 murderers to justice. The same Ian Lom led the army of Montrose through the snow and high over the mountains to surprise the Campbell troops at Inverlochy and gain the famous victory at the Battle of Inverlochy. He was later appointed Poet Laureate by King Charles, the first and only Gaelic poet to be so honoured. He's buried in the church of Keilachorrel, high on the hill above the road, a short distance past Glen Spean Lodge. A 6th century chapel, replaced in the 15th century and restored in the 1930s by the Canadian descendants of the 19th century emigrants of the area. Ian Lom is buried at the door, with a large stone marking his final resting place. A few miles on to Loch Laggan. The popular Sunday evening television series Monarch of the Glen, the original creation of Sir Compton Mackenzie and adapted by Michael Chaplin, is filmed around Loch Laggan. Ardvericke Estate is one of Scotland's most famous deer forests, and the Big House, a private and very romantic turreted shooting lodge on the opposite shore of the loch, is Glen Bogle in the series. Queen Victoria spent her first long Highland holiday here in 1843 and wrote of being driven to distraction by the midges. Indeed, Ardvericke was a location in the film Mrs. Brown, which starred Dame Judi Dench as Queen Victoria and Billy Connolly as her Highland servant John Brown. And it was during this filming that Michael Chaplin first visited the house. The loch has the largest freshwater beach in the country and is a major location, as is the village of Laggan as Glen Bogle village. We take the fork off to Dalwhinnie a little before the village and pass the Mona Lea Hotel, originally a church manse, with the remains of the old church in the grounds. Converted in the 1970s into an 8 ensuite bedroom hotel of charm and distinction. This is a great location to base yourself to discover Monarch of the Glen country, or the ideal stopping off place for a good lunch, evening meal or drink. The hotel is named after the Mona Lea or Grey Hills, the upland expanse between Speyside and the Great Glen, featuring no less than 4 Munros and interspersed by the Corriaric Pass, which carries General Wade's Road from Laggan to Fort Augustus. Continue on to Dalwhinnie and head south through Glengarry to the area covered by the adjoining Highland Perthshire travel tape title. We do hope you enjoyed listening to the West Highlands and Mull travel tape and will return again soon.